Yeah, I'd love to fight Norton. In fact,
In the golden age of heavyweight boxing, Jerry Quarry stood out not just for his iron chin and relentless fighting spirit, but also for the emotions he stirred inside the ring. Known as the Bellflower Bomber, Quarry fought during one of the toughest eras in heavyweight history, facing legends like Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, and George Chuvalo. But for all his skill and heart, Quarry also had a reputation for being fiery,
to Muhammad Ali. So, I mean, we're
outspoken, and sometimes difficult. He clashed with opponents verbally before fights, traded insults in interviews, and fought like a man possessed. Over the years, many boxers developed a love-hate relationship with him. Some respected him deeply, others flat out couldn't stand him. Here are 10 fighters who shared rivalries, tensions, and heated emotions with Jerry Quarry. Rivalries that defined his legacy and made boxing in the 1960s and 1970s unforgettable.
So how does he support himself?
Jerry is on SSI of $614 a month.
1. Muhammad Ali's verbal skills were legendary, and Quarry became one of his favorite targets. Before their 1970 clash, Ali mocked Quarry's Irish background, calling him the Great White Hope. Ali's teasing went beyond promotion. He truly enjoyed getting under Quarry's skin. Quarry, proud and easily provoked, fired back in interviews, calling Ali a clown and vowing to silence him in the ring. When the bell rang, their animosity turned to violence. Ali dominated the fight, opening a deep cut above Quarry's eye that forced a stoppage in the third round. Their second meeting in 1972 followed a similar script. While Ali respected Quarry's toughness, the two never grew close. Quarry later admitted that Ali's taunts lit a fire in him.
had been going with her for about a year, and since the time that, since I met her, things have changed for her.
But the psychological warfare made him furious. 2. Joe Frazier. A clash of toughness. Jerry Quarry and Joe Frazier represented two sides of the same coin. Short, stocky, pressure fighters with granite chins. But there was no friendship between them. Before their 1969 fight, Quarry accused Frazier of being overrated and promised to break his ribs. Frazier didn't take kindly to such words. The result? Frazier delivered one of his most brutal performances, battering Quarry with relentless left hooks until the referee stopped it after 7 rounds. Even after the fight, tension lingered. Quarry often claimed he would have beaten Frazier in a rematch had it happened a few years later. Frazier dismissed those comments, saying Quarry talked too much.
That I did, because after all, I haven't really, you haven't tasted any of my punches yet, you know what I mean? And I did,
Their rivalry was built on pride. Two warriors who refused to back down. 3. George Chuvalo. When Jerry Quarry faced George Chuvalo in 1969, it was a meeting of two men known for never going down. The fight was expected to be respectful, but it quickly turned bitter. Chuvalo accused Quarry of holding too much and fighting dirty, while Quarry claimed Chuvalo was a plotter who couldn't box. The bad blood spilled into the ring, with both fighters trading low blows and taunts between punches. After Quarry won by unanimous decision, Chuvalo refused to shake his hand, calling him a spoiled California kid. Quarry snapped back, calling Chuvalo a crybaby with muscles. The animosity lasted for years, each man insisting he'd won the psychological war. 4. Ken Norton. Ken Norton was known for his calm, analytical personality, the opposite of Jerry Quarry's hot-blooded temperament. When they met in 1975, Quarry had already lost a step, but the build-up to the fight was pure hostility. Quarry mocked Norton's style, calling it robotic, while Norton accused Quarry of living off excuses. Inside the ring, Norton's jab and body attack overwhelmed Quarry. The fight ended in the 5th round, but the hatred between them continued. Quarry said Norton didn't hit that hard and claimed he'd have broken him in his prime. 5. Ernie Shavers. When Jerry Quarry agreed to fight knockout artist Ernie Shavers in 1973,
a different fighter from Norton's steady lateral movement.
Well, I'll be in shape, and I'll cut him off, and I'll make him fight.
Most believed Quarry was walking into a knockout loss. Shavers was one of the most feared punchers alive, but Quarry shocked the world by destroying him in the first round. Shavers never forgave him for it. He later accused Quarry of getting lucky, saying he caught me cold. Quarry, in typical fashion, bragged that he beat the fear right out of the division that night. The two never became enemies outside the ring,
$50,000 and this.
but Shavers always refused to give Quarry full credit. The tension was built on pride, a brutal reminder that one punch can change a career. 6. Ron Lyle. Ron Lyle, a former convict turned heavyweight contender, shared a similar blue-collar toughness with Quarry, but they didn't like each other. Their 1973 fight was one of the most brutal slugfests of the era, full of elbows, headbutts, and words exchanged between punches. After a close decision loss, Quarry claimed he was robbed. Lyle laughed it off, saying, "He talks more than he fights." That jab at Quarry's ego fueled a long-term bitterness. Years later, Quarry said that Lyle hit hard but had no brain. It was classic Jerry, unable to let grudges go. 7. Jimmy Ellis. Jimmy Ellis, Ali's close friend and training partner, fought Quarry in 1968 for the WBA heavyweight title. The two were opposites. Ellis, a smooth technician, Quarry, a fiery puncher. Their fight was filled with trash talk.
That's it. I quit.
But he's living in a world of his own.
Quarry accused Ellis of being Ali's shadow and not a real champion. Ellis, cool and composed, said Quarry was too emotional to ever win the big one. When Ellis won by majority decision, Quarry felt robbed again. He criticized the judges and called Ellis a runner. Ellis brushed off the comments, but later said Quarry couldn't control his mouth. Their tension symbolized two philosophies, brains versus brawn. 8. Floyd Patterson. Jerry Quarry fought the great Floyd Patterson twice, in 1967 and 1968, and neither bout ended on friendly terms. Patterson, always respectful, tried to mentor the younger Quarry before their first fight, but Quarry, driven by pride, saw it as condescension. Their first match ended in a controversial draw, and Quarry mocked Patterson afterward, calling him too old for the new game. When they met again, Patterson outboxed Quarry in a grueling 12-rounder. Afterward, Quarry stormed out of the ring, refusing interviews. Patterson later said, "Jerry wanted to be liked, but he made it hard." Their relationship was one of mutual resentment, each man representing a different generation of boxing values. 9. Larry Middleton. The Forgotten Grudge. Larry Middleton might not be a household name, but he was one of the few journeymen who managed to irritate Jerry Quarry deeply. In 1970, during sparring sessions and later in an exhibition, Middleton mocked Quarry's conditioning and called him lazy. Quarry never forgot it. When they met in a televised bout later, Quarry punished him round after round, shouting insults while throwing punches. The fight ended with Middleton bloodied and humiliated. Reporters later wrote that Quarry took it personally. 10. Mac Foster. The Silent Rivalry. Mac Foster, a Marine and powerful puncher, was known for his stoicism. When Quarry fought him in 1970, the tension was icy. No trash talk, just deep mutual disdain.
Naturally, I'm out trying to show him that I can fight each time, and I'm tight and tense, and it kind of messes my fight up. Now, I came to Oakland with the people not really knowing me that well, but
Foster saw Quarry as a loudmouth Hollywood boxer, while Quarry saw Foster as boring and overhyped. When the fight began, Quarry outboxed and outfought Foster, winning decisively. But the post-fight atmosphere was frosty. Foster refused to congratulate him, muttering, "He ain't all that." Quarry laughed it off publicly, but privately told friends Foster was the most arrogant guy I ever fought. It wasn't hatred born of words, it was born of silence and rivalry. Jerry Quarry's boxing life was more than just wins and losses. It was about passion, pride, and the raw emotions that fueled an entire generation of fighters. He fought in an era where every opponent wanted to prove they were tougher, smarter, or stronger than the next man. Quarry was loved by fans for his courage, but often disliked by his peers for his temper and mouth. Yet even those who clashed with him couldn't deny one truth. Jerry Quarry was a warrior to the core. Every grudge, every rivalry, every moment of bitterness only made him more unforgettable. In a sport filled with giants, he stood his ground, not always liked, but always respected.